everybody, and welcome along to the Nurburgring for round 5 and the last round before Christmas Day in the ISR AIC. After this, the drivers and myself and all the other team behind the ISR AIC will be taking a break for the festive holidays, and I'm sure you will too. So let's get down to business one last time on this Christmas Eve. And what we've got going into this round is a very close battle on points, and it's going to be absolutely phenomenal to see how that goes, because it's so tight. It's just like last season all over again. Remember, the Constructors last season was decided on best result as GTFG and Rothman's SLR tied on points, and Rothman's SLR now being Lucky Strike JSR. So the Nürburgring promises to throw great races at us all the time. It's not the Nordschleife, unfortunately, but it is the GP circuit, which has also held some pretty good races in its past. So without further ado, let's go and find out what happened in qualifying. So as we take a look at the qualifying for the round 5 race at AIC, it is Callum Spencer for Lucky Strike JSR who took pole position by just over half a tenth of a second from Josh Martin. Josh Martin showing ever signs of improvement for the Pro Race UK team. Toby Byrne gets another respectable position up in 3rd place for Team ISR. Of course, he started 5th last time out in Mendig. Contact saw him drop to the back of the field pretty quickly. Ross McFarlane in with a pretty good result for the Pro Race team as well, taking 4th place on the grid, just a 10th of the pole time. Douglas Anderson again, another respectable result up in 5th place for ART. Behind him is Rhinus Melnganis, looking to improve after his DNF last time out in Mendig. Nickel Foggy will be next up in the Northern Lights racing car, just ahead of his teammate of Craig Evans, who really needs to get working a little bit harder to try and maintain his championship fight at the top. Christopher Pedersen will line up 9th place ahead of Danny Diaz. Colin McAllister starts 11th ahead of his teammate Ironbrew, looking to score some good points today, make some gains up the field and get the first points of the season. They're ahead of Evan Imre, who's struggling a little bit this weekend. Stephen Paul will line up in 14th ahead of his teammate Charles McBee. Next up is Kevin Jacobs. Quite a lot of time off himself from his teammates, so he'll need to find improvement in the later rounds. Chester Jackson lines up 17, also quite a way off his teammate. Another guy who's quite a long way off his teammate, surprisingly, is race winner Joshua Wood, all the way down in 18th. He's ahead of Jonathan Guerrero for the Autoback 765 team. And Nut Martinson, the reigning champion, down in 20th, having a terrible season. He's ahead of Valeria Campagnari, and Zach Swader bringing up the rear of the grid. So that is your qualifying for round 5 at the Nürburgring, and we've got quite a battle going on at the top. Josh Martin and Douglas Anderson really bringing great form to their latest races, and really showing that they are the leaders of the team, being a huge 17 positions. Callum Spencer ahead of his teammate in the qualifying, and Douglas Anderson being 11 places ahead of his teammates. So them two really doing great work for their teams, as their teammates are struggling to find form in this second half of the season. But they don't hand out the prizes until the race, so without further ado, let's go and find out what happened in the race. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nürburgring GP, a circuit that has hosted many DTM, GT and Formula 1 venues over the years, and has played a part in hosting the Nürburgring 24 hours, so it's sure to give us some great action to follow up on the action that was Mendig last time out. Callum J. Spencer will lead them away from pole position, but the grid separations are very small, so that could give Josh Martin the confidence to attack into Turn 1. There's not much distance he has to close before he can get side by side with Spencer. All he needs to do is get a good start, and he could be right up in there. And the battle for the championship resumes for one more round before Christmas Day. Lights out and away we go. Callum J. Spencer looks like he's got the better start, and however, no, Josh Martin's got a better second phase of the start. He's now looking to go side by side with Callum J. Spencer. Ross McFarlane got a pretty poor start in the background. He's been swamped by Douglas Anderson, but never mind, because Josh Martin's going up the inside. Byrne looking to make it a free wide situation. He's going to go up the inside, take the lead, but however, he's gone a little bit wide. That's going to allow Callum Spencer to fight it back. He banged doors with Byrne. He's lost his door. A lot of doors going flying in the background. Martin's up into the lead, but now Callum J. Spencer will have to fight Byrne to keep that second place. He's going to swoop around the outside. Great defensive manoeuvre from Callum J. Spencer, and he keeps second place. We see in the background what's going on here. Callum J. Spencer is keeping his second place, but incredible start from the Iron Brew driver of Colin McAllister. He's just lost his door, however, but he is up into 5th place. If he can get this around the outside, yes he does, up into P5 for McAllister from 11th place. Fantastic start from the Scot. Meanwhile, we can see NORL of Campagnari now doing a little bit of work on the car of Craig Evans. Sorry, chugging up a little bit more words. That's not Campagnari, that is Christopher Pedersen. He is past Craig Evans now. Rhinus Melganis is going to go up the inside of Evans' teammate of Nickel Foggy, and meanwhile Stephen Paul's just made a double overtake on Martinsen and Nickel Foggy. Great stuff from the Scottish drivers behind. So as you can see, they've made their way up the hill now for the first time through the Schumacher S's. Jonathan Carrera has just gone around the outside of Nickel Foggy. Nickel Foggy having a really poor start on this start. We're riding on board with Josh Wood. He's looking to go up the inside of Zach Charles McBee in front of him, down the inside, hard on the brakes. He's going to move through, but now McBee will surely have the inside for the next corner. Can he hold it around the outside? Yes, he can, and that's going to allow Campagnari to make an opportunistic move around the outside. Great stuff from the Italian. Chester Jackson's lost a significant part of the front of his car in the background. As we calm down a little bit and can get underway once again, we can see Stephen Paul's under a little bit of pressure from championship contender Evans. He's under a little bit of pressure from Evan Imre coming into the final corner. He's going to lose that position to Emre. Danny Diaz is going to sneak up the inside of both of them with a very late braking move. Incredible opportunistic stuff from the American there. And now we're going to ride on board with the Northern Lights racing car, who just hit the rev limiter there, lost a little bit of time to Jonathan Carrera on that start-finish straight. As we look back at the front, guys, what can we see going on here? It's looking like Gareth Lennon's going to try overtake Campagnari and Josh Wood in one move up the inside, but now he'll have to defend from the NORL car, because the NORL car can go around the outside to defend that position. He's going to go side by side. We ride on board with the Northern Irishman. Two Northern Lights racing cars ahead, doing battle as well. That's Nickel Foggy going up the inside of Craig Evans. Now Gareth Lennon's going to follow Nickel Foggy through, but he's going to have to do this around the outside of Craig Evans. Is he going to manage it? Yes, he is. So another position gained by Gareth Lennon. Incredible stuff by Gareth Lennon to get that position made. Now Campagnari looking to go up the inside of Craig Evans as well. He's going to try get that position done. Not quite. Oh, Kevin Jacobs off in the grass a little bit there. Just went a little bit too wide. And Chester Jackson pits for a complete front end rebuild after losing that on the very early stage of the lap. Campagnari now gets a run on Nickel Foggy, trying to follow Gareth Lennon through. He's going to try go around the outside of Nickel Foggy into the hairpin. They bang doors just a little bit and he's through. Great stuff from the Italian to be that opportunistic and get the job done. And through the Schumacher S's, they will come. Kevin Jacobs looks to go around the outside of the champion. That's never going to work in a month of Sundays, especially against the champion. He's eager to keep that position. He was all the wiser, knew what he had to do. And they will come now in to the run up to the chicane. We go on to lap 3 now. Apologies for that. We had some pretty severe issues with the camera work and the software. But where the software fails, we will continue to push on. We're riding on board now with Toby Byrne. He's trying to chase down Callum J. Spencer to battle for second position once again. Behind him is Douglas Anderson, looking to get a good haul of points today to capitalising on a poor start by Ross McFarlane in the background. We can ride on board with the ISR car as they run up into the chicane for one more time. Colin McAllister's actually got past Ross McFarlane as well, so really great start by Colin McAllister. He's really done the work, and that's the Christmas Prezi he'll be wanting, but Ross McFarlane is hounding him through the chicane. As we ride on board with the other ISR car, Rhinus Melgalis looking to get the position on Christopher Pedersen, I think that is. Ross McFarlane looking to size up Colin McAllister, trying to get a good run on him down into turn 1. He's looking to the inside, but he really needs to be in the slipstream more than he is right now, or else he's just really not going to help himself here. Looking to the inside, that's from a long way back. Almost pushing Colin McAllister through turn 1. Didn't really have anywhere to go with it though. Now looks up to the inside of turn 2. Not going to happen on that occasion. Maybe an opportunity will arise in turn 3. I think that's his attacking done just for now. And he's lost a door as well as McAllister. A lot of guys losing the doors. Just shows how hard they hit each other into turn 1. They really pile-drived into each other into turn 1. They need to show each other's cars a bit more respect, especially in the spirit of the holidays. And that is Christopher Pedersen behind. Then he's defending currently from Rhinus Melgalis, who DNF last time out. He's looking to get some points on the board to make out for that DNF, because he was going to have a pretty high finishing result of around 5th place. So he'll be bitterly disappointed with what happened in Mendig, but he'll be trying to rectify that this afternoon in Nurburgring. So we can watch Ross McFarlane hunt down his fellow Scotsman. He's hunted down by a Swede. And fellow Scotsman brings up the rear of this train of Evan Imre. Of course, that is Nut Martinson's teammate. And the champion is having an awful season. Just really can't get underway, really can't get to grips with his cars, and we'll be hoping that the open wheelers of Season 3 will be more to his liking and he can try to take back that crown. But I think it's safe to say that Nut Martinson's got a very tall mountain to climb in order to grab those wins and to defend his title, because I'm not positive he's going to be able to do it this season. We're coming to the chicane once again. And Colin McAllister's just beginning to pull out a slight lead on these guys as we watch the guys really assault the curves through the chicane. That was glorious to watch. You can see in the background, this is Jonathan Carrera coming under a little bit of pressure now from Gareth Lennon. Through the final corner, Gareth Lennon will be looking to get a better start. Ooh, it looked like his car just drifted a little bit there. That might affect him. Depends how brave he is on the brakes into turn 1. We know Gareth Lennon is pretty good for his late braking manoeuvres, but either way, we're going to look back at a more important battle. That was these guys going side by side. We're running on board with a champion now. We did see a Northern Lights racing car go side by side, and that is Zach Swader in the pits with major front end damage. Something's happened to that Autobacks car, and he's got major front end damage, and he is out of the German round of the ISR AIC. The racing will continue, though no safety car or anything like that needed. Obviously, the racing continues with Josh Martin leading the way ahead of Callum Spencer, Toby Bedware riding on board with 4th place man Douglas Anderson. The top 4 just pulling away, having their own little train here. And Burns still missing that door. I imagine that will have quite a significant error, an error disadvantage, because the side of the air is the cars are made to be as sleek as possible, so the air just runs off them. When you're missing a door, obviously the air's going to be going inside, so we'll be getting a nice little fan if it's warm in there, but not much help in terms of downforce, and that's the same issue with McAllister battling McFarlane. They both don't have doors either in the background. We ride on board, we don't ride on board, but we watch Douglas Anderson with his Fernando Alonso tribute helmet as he tries to hunt down the ISR car and take a podium. We're going to get a replay of what happened to Zach Swader then, so let's take a look at what happened here. Ooh, and that's a big impact. So I'm not sure, he just went straight on into the hairpin. So he brakes. Clearly unable to slow down. He hits the wall pretty hard. And that was all she wrote. So potential brake failure. We had brake failure last time out in Mendig, of course. So potentially brake failure for Zach Swader as the brakes really start to get worn in these cars eventually. Gareth Lennon, we rode on board with for a short amount of time there. He's sizing up a move on Jonathan Carrera. He's going to have to late brake him down into turn 1. Great move, great textbook move. He will now... Oh, but he got sideways. And now he's going to have to do it around the outside of turn 2. Great move for Gareth Lennon. He pulls it off. He had to work for it a little bit harder. He made a mistake, got on the throttle a bit too early. The back end stepped out and he had to do it through turn 2 instead. But great textbook stuff by Gareth Lennon. Late dive bomb up the inside into T1 on Jonathan Carrera. And great stuff by Gareth Lennon. He is up into, I believe, that may be P11 currently. He dropped some places off the start, so he's trying to regain his places. He's just outside of the points, is Gareth Lennon. And currently we can see Danny Diaz has lost his door as well, but that's not stopping him trying to assault Stephen Paul in the GTFG car, the GT Sport sponsored car. This track, of course, being one of the few real-life tracks in Gran Turismo Sport, so the GTFG guys will have been happy that they get a practice for this round. Danny Diaz pushing forward, trying to close the gap to the cars in front for EQU. EQU, another team that's sort of struggled to get to grip with these DTM cars. Although Chester Jackson had a very good start to the season, he's just sort of dropped off as the pressures kept building. His performances have dipped, and he'll want to get on top of them pretty quickly and try get some points scoring again. We're riding on board, we was temporarily riding on board with Nut Martinson. He's chasing down the fellow Mercedes driver in the JSR car of Joshua Wood, who's struggling at the Nurburgring here today. Is Nut Martinson going to have a move? Is he going to deliver some holiday spirit? Oh, look how close he is. He's basically pushing Wood through the chicane. Very late on the brakes for Nut Martinson. Is he going to make a move into the final corner, or is he going to attempt one into turn 1? I'm sure we're about to find out. Turns to the inside, got very close, and I think he'll be quite easily alongside going into turn 1. He got a supreme run, but meanwhile, look at Craig Evans trying to challenge his teammate in the background. Is Nut Martinson? He pulls to the inside now. Yellow Mercedes versus white and red Mercedes. Down the inside he will go. What a lovely camera angle for that move. Great move by Nut Martinson. But Joshua Wood gets the undercut, is able to fight it up the inside, but it's futile because Nut Martinson's through with a sweeping move around 10-2, just like Gareth Lennon did shortly ago. That was great stuff and a great camera angle to watch that unfold. Nico Foggy is now trying to make a move of his own on the Lucky Strike JSR car. Two Northern Lights racing cars have been interesting. They've both been battling each other the whole race and they've just been dropping down the field. I'm not sure what's going on with Northern Lights Racing, but I think they're focusing too hard on battling each other and they're just bringing themselves down the order. So, lap 6 of 13, and the top 4 order hasn't changed, but they're still very close together in their own little private train up at the front. The orange ART car chasing down the white and black ISR car currently. Really pushing hard. Colin McAllister doing a stellar job. That'll get him 10 points, which will be the first points, of course, for Iron Brew just behind this battle. Iron Brew looking to have better fortunes as they're yet to score any points this season. And they're last in the team standings, so they'll really want to be changing that one pretty soon. And Douglas Anderson's pretty close to burn here. He could have a go into turn 1 if he gets this final corner right. Oh, he's got a little bit wide though. Had to back out of it just a little bit, and that might cost him. That might be the opportunity wasted for Douglas Anderson. We look back through the field to see what's going on here. Is this Christopher Pedersen getting a little bit of a run into turn 1? Not really. All hold station for right now. You see Stephen Paul's really hounding the back of Rhinus Melngalis, really late on the brakes, really closed the gap to the ISR car. As the sun beats down on the track, makes it a very shiny looking surface on the helicopter camp. And the trains are staying together. And we've had some pretty good moves so far. We're just, they've been very well thought out moves, and whenever someone's made a move, it's usually been successful. So these guys are waiting for the prime opportunity. No point in making an overtake if you can't make it stick, because you just cost yourself and the car you're battling time. And Joshua Robert Wood, I thought, was going to have a go on Nut Martinson there. It was just the angle of the camera. He wasn't anywhere near him at the time. But, ooh, he gets very close through that section of corner. So, Nut Martinson got that very wrong. Is that going to allow Josh Wood to have a go into the hairpin? He's certainly thinking about it. Looks to the inside line. He will have to late break up the inside of the defending champion. We get another camera shot. Are we going to see round 2 with another beautiful camera shot? He goes up the inside, gets squeezed onto the curb. Can't really do anything. Had to move on, but the Force Fizzy car had the better defence, squeezed him off onto the curb. That caused the JSR Mercedes to lose traction. And good defensive manoeuvre from the champion. That's what you get for being a champion. All that experience. You know when to defend, and you know how to defend. And I'm sure Nut Martinson, being an avid sim racer for many years, throughout all the F1 games, throughout the iRacing years as well, and the likes of Project Cars and other things like that, I'm sure he's had plenty of races around this very ring, so he knows exactly what to do. Meanwhile, Josh Martin still leads ahead of Spencer and Byrne. Looks like Byrne's now putting the pressure on Spencer a little bit as Douglas Anderson's just following them through. We can see McAllister leading McFarlane in the background there. He's ahead of Christopher Pedersen. In we go into on board with... Oh! Rhinus Melngalis has just been hit as we've rode on board with the ISR car, and he's in the wall. Significant damage to the ISR car. What's just happened there? We rode on board with him, and that's a GTFG car I just saw in the corner of my eye in turn 1, all damaged there. We can see there it is. We can't quite see who that is. The cameraman's going to try and work out which GTFG car that is. But we rode on board with the ISR car, and he was just hit up the rear. And that's Charles McBee we can see running there. So it's Stephen Paul who made contact with the ISR car, hit him right up the rear as we rode on board with him. And Melngalis has managed to keep going, but not without significant damage. That is pretty much race ending. He's going to try his best to get to the pits as quickly as possible. That's going to allow Charles McBee to potentially have a go at the inside of the NORL cars. They all get slowed down a little bit. He's going to go up the inside, bang doors pretty aggressively with Valeria Campagnari, and he's through up the chicane, the hairpin, sorry, by making that move. An aggressive move, but quite opportunistic, because everyone got slowed down into the braking zone by Melngalis, who is trying. He's still a racer. He still thinks he's in the race, so he still wants to try, defend, and do all the work he can to prevent anyone passing him so he can hold everyone else up, and maybe that could come into play in a little bit later in the race, potentially if anyone else has an accident. But Valerio Campagnari wants that position back. He will go side by side with the GTFG car. The GTFG car, the better line, and stays ahead for now, but we'll see if the NORL car can do anything about it into the chicane. He looks to the inside, but thinks better of it, and he's almost pushing Charles McBee through into the chicane, and Randus Melngelis will release these three, and an investigation is going underway between Paul and Melngelis to find out what just happened in turn 1, and if anyone was 100% at fault, we'll show him find out and see what the penalty is for those guys, if there is a penalty a bit later on. Meanwhile, Charles McBee now gets a little bit of a run on Jonathan Carrera, and we could see a Northern Lights Racing car had a little bit of run on a Lucky Strike car as well. Meanwhile, the top 4 are still battling away. Josh Martin's pulled away from this battle a little bit, and now it's 2nd, 3rd and 4th that are close together. Josh Martin's been on a streak of wins in his real sim racing career, as well as improving massively in the AIC. Could have been on for a podium or potentially a win at Mendig, but was caught in contact in the chicane on the first lap, and that kind of ended his race pretty quickly. Melngelis is in the pits there, you can see, looking like he's taking a new pair of tyres as well, as the car is jacked up on one side as they drop him now, and he will be released very shortly. And he'll be better than that man of Chester Jackson we just saw for the lower positions. So, here's the replay then of what just happened. And look how fat, but and then he hits the NORL car too. So, and then he's going to try, almost hits the Iron Brew car and rejoins it, and then clips the barrier, which spins him out and puts his car to bed. He was just so late on the brakes and just did not stop. And that's a slam dunk, really. I think he just completely missed his braking point. Hits the back of Melngelis and ends his own race. And ruins Melngelis. There's no point in giving him a penalty. I don't think there'll be a point in giving him a penalty in this race, because Paul is DNF now. He's out of the race. So any penalty wouldn't change anything. So I can see the stewards potentially a point penalty or something coming his way. We'll see what the stewards decide to do with that. Meanwhile, we can see the NLR cars battling away, trying to get past the Lucky Strike JSR car. They battled each other so much, like I said, they've just fallen to the back of the grid in battling each other so hard. That little battle's going on between those three in the background. Joshua Wood is now defending a little bit from Nicole Foggy, and will hold him off to live another day. But look how close it is. And this battle too of Carrera, McBee and Campagnari resumes. Campagnari wants that position back. He was caught napping into the hairpin, and McBee got through. I'm sure Valerio wants that position back. He feels a bit embarrassed that he was caught napping that bad. And here we have a penalty decided. So, oh wow, okay, a qualifying ban for Stephen Paul for next round. So this is an interesting one, because the stewards have just been given the power in the latest game update to give drivers qualifying bans, and they want to trial this for next season. And I suppose this is a perfect opportunity to trial that. They wanted to trial it and see how effective it is for next season, and so they can fully implement it. And I'm guessing they're going to use Stephen Paul as a guinea pig, and well, he deserves to be used as a guinea pig, I suppose, is what they think with what he's done today. So penalties fitting, and it trials for next season to better the sport. So it's a win-win for everyone, but Melngelis, who will be a bit angry, and for Paul, who won't be happy to be starting in the back of the grid. But it's Abu Dhabi next time out, and there'll be plenty of overtaking opportunities for the American, I'm sure. So here we go then, the top 4 still close together, but Martin is gone. Martin is driving away as Spencer's losing a little bit of pace here, and he's bringing back in Byrne and Anderson in the background. Byrne getting quite close under slipstream, not close enough to make a move though. This is where the high stakes are. These guys aren't making silly moves like Paul just did on Melngelis and the like, because they know how big points pay here. You got to think Josh Martin in the championship hunt, he needs this. Callum Spencer, championship hunt, he needs this. Byrne, this will be his first significant points of the season and his first podium of the season since Queensland, I believe, last time out. So this will be significant for him. And Douglas Anderson really improving and pulling himself into that championship fight. So here we go, Campagnari looking up the inside. Is this the opportunity the Italian's been looking for? Ooh, and that's an awkward place to make a move. Not really going to be able to. Is he going to be able to get the undercut? Oh, he pushes McBee on the apex. McBee slowing down, but nevertheless, he's going to have an opportunity to go up the inside in the next corner. If he's braver on the brakes, will ride on board with the Italian. Is he later on the brakes? Yes, he is. Up the inside. Is that going to allow McBee to undercut him and go back around? No, it's not. He gets the job done. Great move from Campagnari, Really opportunistic stuff, really in an opportunity in a place you don't really see that much opportunity of overtaking. Meanwhile, Kevin Jacobs is now going to have a go into the hairpin. He's going to have to do it all the way around the outside. He's pushed a little bit by Martinson in the background, trying to go around the outside. Is he going to be able to do it? He'll get the better traction from that line, surely, and that's going to allow Martinson to seize the moment and get around the outside too. Great stuff by the champion, opportunistic, and he's through. And Charles McBee has lost 3 positions in about half a lap, and now Nut Martinson looking at the inside of Kevin Jacobs. He's taking no for an answer. He wants both of those positions. Tried the position there, couldn't really do it, and now he's going to have to do it on the run up to the chicane. Is the Force Fizzy. Mercedes versus BMW, but the BMW looks like he's coming back on the Force Fizzy. This is going to be close coming into the chicane. He looks to the outside line. Is he going to try sell the dummy and now go to the inside? He tucks in for now, pushing the Force Fizzy through the chicane. He mounted the curb really high there. That's going to cost him traction quite severely, I'd imagine. Coming through the final corner now. This will be interesting then. Who's going to be the victor in this one? Who gets the better run? They all got a pretty poor run. What about the Northern Lights racing cars? They're pretty close to that JSR car. Could they finally dispatch of Wood? I'm sure we'll find out. So we flick through and we can see confirmation there of Stephen Paul's DNF. The cards, and look at that. The car is in a right state. No door, no front end, no front wheel. Really bad state for that GTFG car. Meanwhile, we look back on the action then. What we got? We've got the JSR running away from the ISR. And the ISR running away from the ART. It's the battle of the 3 leaders for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Anderson would love that podium, but Byrne will fight it with all his might because this will be his first podium of the season as we go on to the final lap then of the race. And we will see if this is decided by anybody. Lock up for Callum J. Spencer ahead. Just see the smoke coming off that. A little bit of pressure for Spencer, but I think he's got this. Unless he makes any mistakes. There's only really one real overtaking opportunity left. And I think Spencer's far enough ahead to hold 2nd for now, and I think Byrne's far enough ahead to hold there, but anything can happen. McAllister's still up in 5th position. Great job from the Iron Brew driver. Considering how much we think of a dog that car has been this season. They've just really not been able to get the points, despite the team taking podiums and the likes of Lennon taking wins last season. So, but it's McAllister who brought the points today for Iron Brew. So Lennon will be a bit disappointed that it wasn't him leading the charge. Nevertheless, though, around the final corner, Josh Martin will come to win his first ever race in the AIC. Josh Martin wins at Nurburgring. Great stuff from the Scot. He will finish ahead of Spencer and Byrne. Byrne gets his first podium since Queensland. Iron Brew come home to take their first points of the season. Great job by them. Christopher Pedersen brought in significant points for NORL2. Gareth Lennon finishes in P10. So he does bring some points, but like we said, it's McAllister who brings home the bread to feed the family in that sense. Great effort by Iron Brew to finally get some points on board. Great effort by Josh Martin to get his first win of the season. Great racing today at the Nürburgring. And it all ends with this man, Josh Martin, taking the win. So here are your race results. We'll run through them. We've just discussed the top 3. But 4th is Douglas Anderson. 5th, Colin McAllister. Ross McFarlane slipped from 4th to 6th. Christopher Pedersen comes home in 7th. Danny Diaz 8th. Evan Imre 9th. And getting his first points of the season for the team as well is Gareth Lennon. Jonathan Carrero finishes in P11. Of course, Gareth Lennon made that move on him a bit earlier. Valerio Campagnari came on in 12th. Bit of a shame he didn't bring home any points, but he had some great racing today, did the Italian. So he'll be pretty happy with his performance, I'd like to think, today. Next time out in Abu Dhabi, I'm sure there's always opportunity for points there as well as the cars go battle under the sunset in the Middle East. So those are your first 5 results. Here's your 2nd, Kevin Jacobs 13th. Nut Martinson comes up in 14th. He made some great moves today, but again nowhere near the points. Charles McBee 15th. Wood 16th. Foggy drops to 17th. Evans in 18th. So NLR, bad day in the office. Random Elganis will be furious that he was hit by Stephen Paul. Drops all the way down to 19th. Chester Jackson comes in 20th. Stephen Paul, of course, DNF. And Zach Swader was our first DNF, so he is classified as the last position. So that's how that order goes down after the Nürburgring. And next time out, we go to Abu Dhabi in the Yas Marina circuit for the next round. But this has been the final race before Christmas Day. A lot of drivers opened their presents early today, and I'm sure this is a present for a lot of you guys watching this, because we were treated to some spectacular moves today. Here is your championship standings after that round then. Callum Spencer now moves into the lead of the championship with 51 points. He's only 2 points ahead of Douglas Anderson. Josh Martin, good day in the office, brings him up into 3rd place, just 8 points off the championship lead. Craig Evans dropping significantly as well and all that. Ross McFarlane, despite his poor performance in terms of his race starting to race position, moves up quite significantly into 9th place. Byrne moves up 6 places into 12th position. McAllister moves up into the top 20 and takes 18th on the board. Danny Diaz and Christopher Petson, Douglas Hansen are the only drivers to not move after today's result. But Colin McAllister brings himself up into the top 20, I think at the expense of Valerio Campagnari, knocks him out of the top 20. So unless Valerio can get some more points, he won't be showing up on this top 20 board. Well, especially for this race. Here we go then in the championship standings. Looking to strike JSR despite Joshua Wood having a poor performance today. They've got quite a good lead going on ahead of NLR. NLR struggled and didn't score any points today. But it's Pro Race UK who's pressuring them now by just a point. They're tied on points with Autoback 765. Autoback's not scoring a single point today, so that allows Pro Race to tie on points with them today. ART in 5th. ISR moves up 2 positions at the expense of Force Fizzy and Team EQU. And GTFG ahead of NORL by not that many points at all. And then just 2 points separating NORL and Iron Brew Racing after today's result. So that is the Nurburgring race done. That's race 5 out of 9 done. That should say 5 out of 8. Apologise, we need to get on top of these graphics. we'll get them sorted out for next time out, but it is 5 out of 8, so 3 races remain today, so we are very much in the second half of the season. Next time out is Abu Dhabi, which DTF has never raced at, but we're going to find out what happens there in Abu Dhabi, of course, and have a little bit of racing going on there under the sunset, and plenty of off-taking opportunities for another great race, hopefully like today. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and from myself, the Gaming Now, and the ISR team, if we don't see you before in the new year, have a very great new year, guys, but at least we can say have a very Merry Christmas, and we will see you for round 6 at Abu Dhabi.